Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to our CS class. Hope all are fine. And let's start with an introduction of previous class. That means revision of previous class. In previous class, we discussed about control statements in which there are two types of statements are there. They are looping statement and conditional statements. In previous class, we discussed conditional statements like if, elif, nested if else, nested if elif format. In today's class, we are going to discuss looping statements. Before that, you must know the difference between conditional statements and looping statements. In conditional statements, condition is checked and whether the condition is true, execution of body of corresponding block will take place. That means if any condition is true, then body of the block is executed only single time. That's the specialty. One time its body is executed. In looping statement, same as conditional statement, we are checking some conditions, and if the conditions are true, then the block is executed many times according to our wish. We can set how many number of times this block is executed. If it is 5, 10, 11, we can set that count. So looping statements means repeated execution of a block is known as looping. Conditional statements are to check the condition, and if the condition is true, then corresponding block is executed. So repeated execution is possible in looping statements. In Python, there are two types of looping methods are used. They are for loop and while loop. For and while are the two loops used in Python. First is for loop. In for loop, what happens? We will check a condition. Up to that condition, the value is printed or perform some operation. In like if and if else, if the header of if statement or if elif statement will contain a colon after the condition check. Like that, in looping statements also there will be colon after the header. So general form of the for loop is for variable in sequence colon. Inside this some space means indentation are there and statements to repeat. We can consider the example. This is an example. For instead of variable, here we used element. You can use I and any value, you can use any variable name. Here they used element. For element in this array 10, 15, 20, 25, print element plus 2, comma, and equal to space. Single quotes means space. So for element in 10, 15, 20, 25 means this for loop contains an array element. It is 10, 15, 20 and 25. Then it will goes inside the loop. Here print element plus 2. So at 0th position, what is the position of 10? Is it 0th position? 0, 1, 2, 3. 0th position 10 is there. 10 plus 2 will give 12. And equal to space means after 12 there will be some space. Then 15 plus 2. Then this loop is repeated and again take the value 15. 15 plus 2 equal to 17. Then again loop is repeated. Value of element becomes 20. 20 plus 2 equal to 22. 25 plus 2 equal to 27. So in the given sequence, the 2 is added. So this is the first example. Here we used for value element or for I in an array. Normal method of for loop is by using range function. Usually we will use range function to represent to increment. To represent list we are using range function. Usually in for loop we are using range function. Let's look how this range function work. It works as a list. So what happens in a list? In a list, there are many elements. So here suppose for value I in range 3 comma 18 means from 3 to 18, up to 18, not 18 is included, up to 18 values are printed, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that, up to 17, because 18 is not counted, up to 18 from third position to 18th position. That means from third up to 17. So this range function will automatically increment the value. This is the start index, this is the end value, then 3 plus 1 4, 4 plus 1 5. Each iteration, first the value of VAL becomes 3, then 3 is printed. Then again goes to for loop, value is incremented to 4, then 4 is printed. Then again goes to for loop, like that a looping takes place. So this will be the output of for loop. So by using integer range function, we can give integer sequence as list. Then there are three ways to define a range. First method is range inside brackets stop. Stop means elements from 0 to stop minus 1. That is incrementing by 1. That means range of stop. Here stop is a variable. We can give any variable, range of I, range of j, like that. Here we use the variable stop. Range of stop will give from 0 to infinite value, it is incremented. So if suppose not to infinite value, from 0 up to stop. Suppose here there are example. By using this example you can understand. That means this range of stop, here stop is a variable name. Instead of stop we use 7 here. Range of 7 will give from 0 to 6. That means from 0 up to 7. Up to 7 means 6. 7 is not included. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the first method to use range. That means inside range function only single variable we are used. Then from 0th position to up to that value, the range function works, and if you want to print we can print also. Range of 3 will give output as 0 1 2. Range of 5 will give output as 0 1 2 3 4. Next type is range of start comma stop. We used in this case. That means there is a starting index and an ending index. Up to that index value is printed. Range of 5 comma 12 will print 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. 12 is not included. Next method is supplying three variables, start, stop, step. According to our wish, we can change the value as I, j, k. That's our wish. Here they use start, stop and step. So for example, 5 13 comma 2 means starting value is 5 and an increment of 2 takes place in each iteration, and the end value is 13. Then output will be 5 7 9 11. Range of 10 comma 4, no value because from 10 to 4 not possible. So we write 10 comma 4 comma minus 1, because 10 plus minus 1 will give this first index will add 1. 10 plus minus 1 will give 9. 9 plus minus 1 will be 8. The minus 1 is the step size here. So there are some example to print cube of numbers in range 15 to 20. To find the cube of number, we are supplying 15 to 20. That means we are supplying index from 15 to 21. First it reach to here. Then print is I star star 3 means 15 star star 3. Like that 15 cube is performed. Then 15 is incremented to 16. Here cube of number I and equal to, then print is I. This is just print statement to print cube of number. I means first case 15, second case 16, third case 17, and so on. N equal to space means after 15 there is a space. After is there is a space. Then I star star 3 means I raised to 3. That means 15 raised to 3, which we will give 3375. This is the program to find the cube of a number. Like that we can find the square root also, because in square root what happened? To find the square we are writing I star star 2. To find the square root what happened? I star star 0.5. That is the option. That means 1 by 2 is 0.5. So I star star 0.5. Here 1 comma 10 comma 2 means 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So alternate numbers square root is calculated. So here we use the equation I star star 0.5. So this is the for loop. In for loop we are using range function. Three methods for to use range function. Only single variable is passed. In that increment takes place. Two values is passed. That means from starting to end value printed. Then three values are passed. That means start index, end index, and a step size. Next is while loop. It is also similar to for loop, but here we will not use range function. That's why we have to increment the value inside while loop. While's format is while logical expression colon, then loop of body. So in this example, let's look here while count that here a program that multiples two integer numbers without using the star operator using repeated addition. That means multiplication is done by repeated addition also. Division is done by repeated subtraction. So first here two values are inputted n1 and 2, which is converted into int product equal to 0. This is the assignment. Inside while loop what happened? While count greater than 0 means if we are supplying count equal to n1, first value, the value equal to count equal to n1. That means the first value we are supplying. If it is greater than 0, then count is decremented. This decrement operation is performed inside loop. If we are using for loop, we can use for I in range 0, 8, minus 1 like that. But here we have to specify the increment or decrement operation inside while loop. So this is an example for while statement. The next topic is break and continue, which are known as jump statements. We can cover the jump statements in next class. It is used in loops itself. These jump statements, break and continue, are used in iterative statements or looping. So today what we have learned about for loop and while loop. In for loop we are using range function for automatic increment or decrement. But in while loop we cannot increment or decrement automatically. For that we are supplying a value like that, count equal to count minus 1 or count equal to count plus 1 according to our wish. In while loop here condition is checked. If this condition is true, then this block, this session is worked. Up to this condition becomes false. That means count greater than 0. Here we are decrementing the count when we are supplying the integer value. If our count becomes less than 0, then it is exited from the loop. That means if the condition fails, then it is exited from loop and product is printed. So this is the CS class. In next class, we can learn break and continue. Thank you. Have a nice day.